Hello, welcome to Sunfire Designs. I just wanted to make a little foreword for the video I'm about to share on how to make your own silicone mold. When I first made this mold back in August, I did not know what I was doing. I think I got it right as far as making the actual ring and doing everything, but when I actually poured the mold, I did it in a bowl where I put it in a bowl and I poured the resin on top of it. I do not recommend doing that now. For this mold, what I did is you can either get a form that clips together that you can pour your silicone into, or this one I used a plastic container that was a little bit smaller than the framing that I had, and I sprayed it with mold release, and then I sliced it to get this out. So, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. If you have any questions, if you put them in the comments, I'll do my best to get back to you. And otherwise, I hope you enjoy watching. Thanks for being here. Bye. Hello, welcome to Sunfire Designs. Today, I am going to try to make a silicone mold. I have made them in the past. They haven't always come out the way I'd like them to be, so obviously not perfect, but they work. So I'm going to try again with something a little different. What I'm using today is this is Let's Resin silicone putty. And it comes in two parts, a white and a blue. And what you do is you mix it together, and as soon as it's incorporated and you don't see any more of just the white there, then it's ready to go. It has a very short work time. The work time is supposed to be about 3 minutes. Probably have up to 5. I don't have very long. But what I'm going to do is after I mix these two up, and you can see it's very like greasy, the silicone obviously, is I have these decorative glass. I got it at Michael's. It's decorative filler. It's basically crushed up glass, but it's not super tiny. It's bigger. So it's the closest thing to crystals that I can find. It's got nice crisp edges. So I'm going to press that into the silicone, and hopefully that will take the shape and we'll have something that looks kind of cool. If not, then you know what? We'll end up with something. This is a sheet of acrylic. I'm going to start mixing these while I talk. So down here, this is a sheet of acrylic that I ordered on Amazon, which I will put in the description if this works out, so that it's fit to see the light of day. And yeah, so I'm just going to mix this up as well as I can. Make sure there's no white streaks or anything in it. It's kind of like playing with Play-Doh or it feels like silly putty, to be honest. And if you ever played with silly putty when you were younger, I did. I liked silly putty. It was kind of cool. Anyway, so it's kind of like silly putty consistency, and I drew a circle on the other side of my acrylic sheet. I have not pulled the cover off of it yet, but on the opposite side, I drew a circle about the size that I want the mold to be. So now this is mixed. I'm going to go ahead and this is not very easy to do. I'm going to try to make a snake. And it needs to be big enough to go all the way around the circle. And the problem is that this is it stretches, and then it gets thin in one part and thicker in another. So you just have to play with it and work with it and try to figure it out. And it doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be pushed. Oh, Schmikeys, I forgot to pull the plastic off. That would help, right? Okay, there. Now I'm gonna have to roll it again. It's been one of those days. You ever have one of those days where things just don't seem to go your way? That is today for me. All right, try this again. Rolling this out. I'm going to just stretch it along the circle. It does not have to be perfect, but considering I have a very short work time, I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can. You do want it to be up firm against the base, because you're going to pour your resin directly into this once it's ready. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour a bunch of this glass in the center, and I'm just going to bring it up, and I know I've got too much in here, and that is okay. I'm gonna bring it up and I'm gonna press it into the silicone. And it will make an imprint. And then when I go to pour the resin in here, what'll happen is I will turn this upside down and probably most of this will fall out, if not all of it. I did it earlier with some crystals and they all came right out. So I'm gonna just kind of do this as fast as I can because it sticks, but it's, you know, it comes right out because hardly anything sticks to silicone where that you can't get it off. So, all right, and press it down firmly, making sure that I've got enough in all spots. I just gotta tell you, this is probably the fastest I've ever worked on something like this. Now, hopefully I'm not scratching this up too much in here because this is going to be your smooth top. If I did scratch it up too much, you can always do like a flood pour over the top. But I kind of don't want to do that unless I have to. All right, I think I've pretty much got this good. Wouldn't that look cool if it ends up having like all these little sparkles like this in the resin when I do it? All right, so this has to cure for 20 minutes before you can use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set it aside to cure. And in the meantime, I am going to pour resin into another mold that I made earlier so it can start to cure, and then we will see what we end up with. So I will catch you back. Probably will not bring you here for the pouring part because I don't think you don't need to watch me pour resin directly into this because that's basically all you do. You mix up the resin, you pour it right into here. And it's kind of trial and error to figure out how much resin goes in it, but I just record it, and that way anytime I use the mold, afterwards I know exactly how much resin to use, which is kind of cool. So, all right, I'm going to stop playing with this. I don't want things to fall out. All right, I will see you when it's ready. All right, I am back. So while we were gone, I went ahead and I poured just clear resin over the top. And I do have a couple little bubbles in there that got stuck and didn't come up, but I think it'll be okay. If there's a little dot there, then what I'll do is I will fill it in with like UV resin or something before I make my actual mold. This is just like the template for my mold. So, all right, let's take it out and see what it looks like. I did have to glue this blue part down. I tried it without, and I ended up having leakage. So what I did is I glued it down with some silicone glue, and that really helped it to stay and not leak. So it's making it a little more difficult to get this out, but I know we'll manage. Okay, come on. Oof. Let me try doing it upside down. Oh, it took it off. All right. Awesome. So I'll just have to, next time I do this, glue it back down if I decide to do it again. All right, here we go. It's actually got some like crystal reflections. Can you see? I will do some trimming of this to make it nice and neat. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. Now there's a little bubble there, but it's underneath really deep. There's a little bubble here, but I can file that one off. It's kind of close. And yeah, oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, I can't wait to use it. So, all right. So I will come back and we will do the mold itself together. I will wipe this off with alcohol because I did get fingerprints on it. So that way it doesn't have fingerprints in my final mold. And I'll wipe it off with like a soft cloth. Exciting. Yay. Okay, I'm going to trim these pieces off. And then next time I see you, we will be doing the actual silicone mold. Okay? All right, see you soon. Hi, I am back and I'm ready to mix up my silicone to pour over my model. I have cleaned off the model with, I have cleaned it off with alcohol, and then I have wiped it down with this soft eyeglasses cleaning cloth to make sure that it doesn't have any fingerprints or anything like that to leave smudges on my mold. It does look like it's kind of scratched up in there, but that's the bottom of the bowl. So it's going to look kind of weird. I'm doing it in this bowl because my mold housing is dirty, and it had double-sided sticky tape on it, and it's a real pain in the butt to get off, and so I didn't feel like doing it all. So I am going to put it in this bowl, and thanks to my friend Tammy for sharing to me that it worked for her. So thanks, Tammy. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it into this bowl. I got this new kind of silicone. I've only made one mold before, I'm not going to lie. And when I did, I used the Let's Resin brand silicone. But this one, the Let's Resin is by weight or by mass. So you have to use a scale to do it. And this one supposedly is just a 1-to-1 by volume. So I'm going to go ahead and mix both of these up. I think I'm going to need both of them. If I have a little extra, then that's okay. But if I mix up just a small amount, I'm going to end up with a little bit left on the bottom, and I'm not going to have anything to do with it. Like, nothing can be done with it. So I'm going to shake this up really quickly, and then I'm going to mix them together, because I don't know why it looks like that. Actually, nothing I'm doing is making it budge. I did shake these up already. So I'm not sure why that's discolored like that. I'm hoping it's just the dye. Now, if this doesn't work, I will put in for a refund, but I'm hoping, yeah, it's not moving. I think it's just the bottle or the dye the bottle was dyed by the color. And look at this, it matches my bowl almost exactly. So the last one I did was kind of a see-through transparent color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of these bottles in here, and then I am going to mix them up thoroughly. You have to mix for 3 minutes. And then afterwards, when I pour it in here, it'll cure in 6 hours. I can unmold in 6 hours, and then it has to cure for 4 more hours after that before I can use it. So this is a long process. It's going to take us quite a bit of time to get through this all. I've already had to wait several hours, well, actually over a day, probably 2 days for this to get cured to the point where I can actually do this. Because I didn't really want to put it on my heating mat because I wasn't sure what it would do to my acrylic. So anyway, I am going to mix this up, and then I will be right back. And if this works, I will put a link to this in the description. All right, so I have been mixing this for 3 minutes. It is really, it says it's low viscosity. It is less viscous than the Let's Resin that I remember it being. But that's good, because that means that it doesn't have it has hardly any bubbles in it. So I'm hoping that I won't get any little bubbles. And if I do have bubbles, they will just kind of rise up right to the top. So I think I am ready. I'm gonna just scoop this out of the way. Sorry, I did not get a chance to do it before I turned the camera on. And then I'm gonna move my bowl over, so hopefully I don't block pouring while I'm pouring. So I am going to try to pour. It says to pour at the lowest part. I'm going to try to pour it on the side just gently, because I don't want to pour it on the top. I don't want it to cause bubbles as I'm pouring it. And I feel like I'm going to have more than enough, but I don't know. Now the resin might seep underneath this, and that's okay if it does. Because then you just trim it off, and it won't be a lot of it underneath it, because this is heavier than the resin is. And I've checked all my spots. Anything you see, any blemishes in there, are just inside the resin. They are not on top of the resin, because you want to make sure that you have a really good, clean model to use. And I know template, that's the word I was looking for, is template. All right, so I'm gonna try to pour this in. Hopefully I don't drop it in here. I'm gonna start pouring it on the edge, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm gonna kind of let it work its way up over. And I'm pouring it kind of close down because I don't want to create bubbles as I'm doing it. And I'm hoping that it won't, because it kind of just went gently on there. Now, it looks like, oh, you have too much. And maybe I do have a little bit too much, but you want to make sure, oh, there went a bubble. That's probably from underneath the mold. You want to make sure that you, yep, I'm going to have to push it down and make sure I get any bubbles in there out. You want to make sure it covers your template by, it says 1/2 inch. So, which I actually found to be quite a lot compared to some of the ones that I've bought that have been professionally made. But obviously this is a do-it-yourself kind of thing, and I want to make sure that I'm doing it so that my mold will last and I won't have to replace it. Although if I do need to replace it, I can use this same template, assuming that everything turns out the way I want it to. I think I've gotten everything out of here I'm going to get out, and I'm just going to let this sit, because what will happen is after it cures, I'll be able to just kind of peel the silicone out, and that will work. All right, so I'm going to actually take this and push down. See, I don't know if you saw that, some bubbles kind of came up. All right, I've pushed down as far as I can go. Hopefully I didn't scratch my mold when I did that. I mean, scratch my thing. And it's not even, it's that deep. So probably like 2/3, 1/3, I don't know, less than 1/2 inch it looks like, but I think it's gonna be deep enough. And the thing is, because it's in a bowl, there's extra over here, but this is just gonna be easier for me to do it in the bowl than it is to do it in my housing. So, and next time, maybe I'll do it in my housing. I just really don't want to clean it. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And if I want to use it and have it work, I need to make sure I clean everything off. So, all right. Well, I am going to let this cure. I'm going to move it to a different table. I mean, I can do that because I don't have to worry about it spilling out. And I'm going to let the bubbles just kind of rise up. I think you can use a torch on this, but I'm not going to try. I don't want to set anything on fire or burn it or anything. And you can, I don't know if you can see, but all the little bubbles that are coming up are just kind of popping. So this has such low viscosity that it's kind of like using a 2-to-1 resin or a 3-to-1 resin. I think that's a thing, where the bubbles just kind of come right up and pop themselves. So yeah. Anyway, fingers crossed that it works out. I will see you guys 6 hours. It's probably going to be tomorrow because I will be in bed in 6 hours because I just did this after work. So I will see you tomorrow when I get home from work, and then we will take it out, let it finish curing, and then try to use it tomorrow night maybe, if not the next night. Actually, tomorrow night won't work. I have open houses. So, open house at school. So I will see you guys, not tomorrow. I might be able to unmold tomorrow, but I won't be able to do this until the next day. So, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, it's the next morning. I've taken my mold out, and as expected, the resin went underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to cut along the area where the edge of the mold is so I can get my base out. Oh, wait, is this gonna work? Actually, okay, I need to cut this. I will be back on screen in just a minute, okay? Okay, I'm back. I am gonna have to clean up the edges here, but I've got enough that I can get my template out, and so we can see how it turned out. Oh, it's smooth and shiny. I just see very few little defects there. And look, it's got all the little nooks and crannies here. Awesome. I'm going to trim it up, and guess what? We're going to use it tonight. I will see you then, okay? Okay, so that's it for my mold making tutorial. As I said, it works a lot better, I think, if you do it in a flat, like with a housing around it, because it comes out level. So I did make this last night using this mold, and it actually came out level. I didn't have to prop any parts of it up, and it was filled exactly even all the way across. So I'm really, really excited. This is the first one I've made using my new mold. And this is using the Let's Resin silicone, and I will put links to it in the description. But these are some other examples. You may have seen these in my videos using this mold. I really like it. So I hope that this was useful for you. Please let me know if you have any questions. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.